You are listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow.
Hey everybody, Aaron Zamzow here with a Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast. Say, I got a confession to make. I did a very stupid thing today. This is actually the second time I've recorded this podcast today. The first time I recorded it, I forgot to push the green button on my mic, and a 22-minute podcast went for naught. But we all do stupid stuff, and today's topic is actually sometimes what happens when we do these stupid things. It's today's podcast is about injuries, how to avoid them in workouts, how to avoid them on the fire ground, and what to do to kind of prevent them throughout your career and throughout your workouts, and how to stay more healthy. Again, this is the second time I did this. So sometimes we do stupid stuff. We lift stuff we know we shouldn't. We put ourselves in positions where we shouldn't be, and we tweak a muscle, we tweak a back. Typically, it's back, shoulders, and knees that we, as firefighters, EMTs, and medics, have a tendency to injure. Sometimes crap just happens. We are in a profession where we have to be in these situations where we have to lift heavy people, heavy things. We twist a lot. We carry heavy stuff, and injuries do happen. So out of all these tips that I give you, take them with the idea that, yeah, I understand injuries happen, and not every injury is preventable. But I will give you this caveat to that. People who do get injured that are in shape recover sometimes 2 to 3 to 4, depending upon the injury, times faster. And they come back, in some cases, more balanced. I'll give you an example. We had 2 individuals on in my fire department that both tore a biceps tendon. One did not have to have surgery. The other did. The one that did not was in really good shape, did a lot of mobility work, did a lot of strength training, and was able to do rehab and get back to work within about 6 weeks. The second person was not. They were kind of, as they like to say, they were taking a timeout for a couple of years of fitness. And it came back to bite them. It took almost 8 to 12 weeks, actually. It could have been even more, 3-4 months. They had to have surgery. And this seems to be the norm. If you are in good shape, you do get injured. You bounce back a lot faster. If you aren't in good shape, these injuries can nag, and they can lead to other injuries and imbalances. So, I think pretty much we've all had that tweak. We've twisted and turned the wrong way and stepped off a curb, and it felt that little, oh God, I hope I didn't hurt myself. And that's why fitness is so important. It helps to combat injuries, prevent them, and then make sure that we don't prolong them. So without further ado, let me get into today's topic. I want to give you, again, 5 ways and tips to reduce firefighter injuries. And the first one, if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, I've been really harping on this. It's about mobility, namely performing an active warm-up before you work out, and or before you train, and or before you start your shift. You look out in the NFL right now, Tom Brady is still going strong. He's well into his 40s. Well, 40, I think he's 41. He's been doing this for a long time. And if you research any of his workouts, I would almost say 70% of his workouts have to do with mobility work, being pliable. They also, he places a big emphasis on his nutritional programming. But his mobility is what's keeping him strong. His mobility is what's keeping him on the football field and avoiding injuries. And that goes the same for us as firefighters, EMTs, and medics. We need to be mobile. I think, a lot of us come from a sports background where you always see the guy who goes in the weight room and tries to work out like they did when they were in football, or the female on the job, the woman on the job that goes back and trains like they did in soccer and volleyball, or even, softball or rugby, whatever their sport was, and whatever you were familiar with before you got in the job, you have a tendency to go back to. Now, that doesn't necessarily make it right. That was a different sport. Firefighting is, if you look at it from an athletic standpoint, from a strength training standpoint, we have to prepare for events. These events are fire attack. These events are rescue. They are carrying heavy equipment, carrying actual patients. So your workouts need to prepare you for that. And one of the ways to do that is to become mobile. So don't skip the warm-up. And what I mean by an active warm-up, I don't mean just hopping on a treadmill and you're going to run for 5 minutes and then you're going to go do a set of bench press real lightweight. We mean warming up in all three planes of motion: twisting, forward, back, side to side. All the different changes of motion help to warm up the body more thoroughly. One of my favorite warm-ups is called the Spider-Man. You're in a push-up position, and you take your left foot, in this case, and try to put it up towards your left hand. And that stretches out your hamstring, your hip flexor. Sometimes you can even feel it into your glutes. You only hold this position for 2 or 3 seconds. You come back to the starting push-up position, and then you do the other leg. Some other movements are even like jumping jacks. You'll see some strength and conditioning specialists do band work where they're doing side leg work, side steps. All of this helps to get blood flow deep into the muscle. It also helps to increase your core temperature and prepare you for the workout. But this also helps to wake up all the nerves, fire all those nerves, get those muscles going, and helps with your overall mobility, and which can lead to injury prevention, which can lead to also just better feeling. You don't feel as sluggish. You just feel like you're moving more better and more efficiently. So I can harp on this one all day long, but mobility work, make sure you're actively warming up. The second thing we need you to do is to use weight, but namely, I want to, this is a twofold tip right here. As fire rescue athletes, we need to do resistance training, strength training. Now, body weight training is great, but we also need to think about, okay, sometimes we're carrying more than our own body weight. We carry heavy equipment, we carry heavy people, and we need to strength train. Strength training is great for males and females because it helps to combat osteoporosis in one, but it also keeps our metabolism going by adding muscle. And I'm not talking about bulk muscle. It can do that, but for most of us, that muscle helps with posture. It helps us do the movement patterns that we need on the job. So you need to be strength training. And with that, you also need to be able to, or when you are doing your strength training, you need to control the movements. I've seen this a lot of times where people will hop in a gym, they'll bench press or they'll squat or do a particular movement, and they are herky-jerky, not full range of motion, and using horrible form. And that's a way to get you injured. So we need to strength train, but we need to do it properly, slow and controlled in most cases. Now, there are power movements where the actual movement itself is done more rapidly, but you also still need to do that with control. All right. So number one, actively warm up. Number two, strength train and use good form, good posture, and use reps that are not going to get you injured. The third thing that I think we all need to do, and a lot of us are stubborn in the fire service. We have a lot of egos and individuals that come from other sports, and we also deal with people that are injured a lot. And I think that kind of transfers onto us kind of thinking about, in our own realm, we don't want to admit when we are injured. We see it all the time. And I think sometimes that makes us less prone to admit when we are. And so my tip for you is don't ignore the pain that's around your joints. It sounds like a real obvious statement, but again, for us in the fire service, I think there's a lot of us that, go, oh, I think I tweaked my shoulder, but we'll see. Maybe it'll go away. Or let me try to push through it. This particular tip, what I want you to do is don't necessarily push through it. Make note of it. Connect with your body. Make sure you understand what's going on. And in some cases, if you need to rest a little bit, rest a little bit. If you need to do more stretching, do more stretching. Listen to what your body's telling you. Listen to what your joints are telling you. And don't be pig-headed and make something worse. Okay? There are a lot of resources out there, myself included. I have some great physical therapists, occupational therapists that I can get in contact with. If you have problems or questions about any joint, any problem, let me know. we could try to connect you with the right people. Reach out to those on your department. Some departments have athletic trainers. Some departments have good relationships with some physical therapists. So reach out to those and don't let a shoulder injury get into or lead to a shoulder surgery or a back surgery. Try to, again, listen to your body and don't be stupid when it comes to pain. So far we're going to actively warm up, work on mobility work, strength train, do it with a controlled motion. If we have an ache and pain, we're going to try to pay attention to it a little bit and not be dumb and make it worse by working through it. So here's another tip. Fourth one, make sure you are lifting the appropriate weights, the appropriate exercises for your goal and your level of fitness. I've seen this time and time again. A couple guys are in the fire department or the fire station, or a couple of women are in the fire station, and they go, "Hey, what are you doing today?" Back and biceps. "Oh, I'll do that workout with you." Okay. So then you try to do their weight, do their movements. Now, are you doing that because their goal is your goal? A lot of times not. You're just kind of going through the motions. And sometimes that can lead to an injury, especially if you start off too heavy, if you're lifting something that you shouldn't be doing. And I see this a lot. A lot of times, I'm not a big proponent of lifting. I think we should challenge ourselves. But if you're bench pressing 400 pounds, I'm going to ask you why. Because if you're doing that on the fire ground, there's some serious crap going on, right? Something collapsed on you, and you got other things to worry about other than whether you can bench press 400 pounds or squat 800 pounds. I think there's a certain level that you could get to, but if you're not working mobility work, if you're not working your cardio, you got to make sure that you keep that. The main goal of your workout should be injury management, injury reduction, and performance, right? We are athletes. When I used to work with my NFL guys, I wouldn't lift too heavy with a lot of guys. If they're, especially if all of a sudden you could start to see like they started to get really, really heavy with their lifts, they might actually lose a little bit with their power and their speed. So you need to find that balance, and you need to make sure that you cater your workouts to help you improve performance, or in some cases it might be weight loss, because if you lose weight, you're going to perform better. But make it your own and then lift accordingly. An 800-pound squat for somebody who needs to lose 50 pounds really, to me, doesn't match. Okay? So lift appropriately, lift the right exercises, lift for your goal. And then on this next point, I'm going to lead this in. They tie together. I'm also going to tell you to stop exercising. Yep. I'm going to pause. You heard that right. Stop exercising. Start training. Now, we talked to you about lifting for your goal and your level of fitness, and working out for your goal and your level of fitness. I'm going to tell you, stop exercising, start training. These two go together. Exercising is working out for that day. Hey, I want to go for a bike ride just to clear my head, right? I'm going to go run a couple of hills, or I'm going to go do that workout for that day. A lot of times, like, this is why I don't like workouts of the day or WODs, because your workouts need to build on each other. They need to, you need to look at your fitness as a big picture. Just like when you're going on scene, right? You do a 360, and we do, we create a plan of attack, whether it's fire attack, whether it's ventilation, right? You come into a plan, you survey it, and you create your plan. Your fitness needs to be the same way. You survey, figure out where you are, where you want to go, and then create a plan to get you there. A lot of times I see this. People go down and just do a workout here and a workout there, and 4 weeks goes by, you don't see the results you want, and you quit. It's because you don't have a big picture plan. You need to take in consideration rest days, days that you're on shift, days that you're not on shift, when you have access to a gym, all these different things, and create that 4 or 6, or I like to do 6 and 8 week plans. At FRF, firerescuefitness.com, we have programs for those that are beginning. We have programs for those that want to get stronger, get leaner, improve their performance. We have some that want to lose weight. We have programs for those goals. And a lot of times where my athletes have seen really good results is they start with weight loss, they move to athletic performance, and then they go back to some of their favorites. But they have a plan in place, not only for their fitness, but for their nutrition. So exercising is just a short-term approach to it. We want you, and I want you to start thinking about training. Think about a 6-week, 8-week program, and think about what you want to accomplish during that time. And that goes back to then understanding why you're doing a particular lift, right? Understanding why you're doing an exercise, because it plays into this program. It plays into this plan, and it's working you every single day towards that goal. Now, your goal might be to maintain. Your goal might be for maybe it's for PTSD. Maybe it's just for a mental clarity. But still, make sure that you understand when and how much and when you can fit those workouts in, and the mental side of this too is very, very important. So really take that into consideration. Again, we talk about injury. We talk about performance. We talk about, managing pain. These are 5 tips that obviously they're going to reduce injuries. They're going to keep you working, and they're going to help you improve your performance. But most importantly, they cause you to take a step back and think about what you're doing from a fitness standpoint and why, right? So again, we want you to warm up. We want you to use control weights, resistance train. Don't ignore pain. Lift for your goal, lift for your level of fitness, and create a plan to help you achieve your goal. Okay. I hope this makes sense. This is one that's near and dear to my heart, so I ramble on a lot about it. But you'll notice that there's some common themes from some of my other podcasts. I talk a lot about mobility. Look, I'm in my 40s, and mobility is 50 to 60% of my workout because it helps. I understand personally and how much better I feel when I can move better, right? And I think if you're a younger athlete getting into the fire service, one of the things I would always tell you to do is focus on the mobility work. Make sure you're doing active movements, foam rolling, and just 5 or 10 minutes. You'll improve those bench numbers. You'll improve your strength. Okay. So focus on mobility, focus on creating a plan, and then work that plan out. I am here to help you with that plan. If you need one, I got one. If you need me to help you stay on task with it, this last year, we implemented some coaching into our FRF programs, and it's been very, very successful. I send you weekly emails. We have a group on Facebook, and you can read more about that at firerescuefitness.com. I am done for the day. I hope you got a little bit from this podcast. If you have questions, if you think I'm onto something or I'm on something, please leave comments, share. If you have topics that you want me to cover, please let me know. You can reach me at firerescuefitness.com. Contact FRF up in the upper right-hand corner. It goes right to me. You can reply to whatever platform you're listening to this on. Again, I thank you so much for supporting the mission of trying to get firefighters, EMTs, and medics more healthy in the fire service, and your own commitment to fitness. And I know you're committed because you're listening to this. So thanks so much. Until next time, stay safe and get FRF, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow. Please tune in again soon for more fitness tips for fire rescue athletes.